Are you looking for scriptural, let alone astronomical proof that the 15th day is always a conjunction dark moon phase? Well, you're going to get it. Once again, we will be experiencing an annular solar eclipse on the pagan day of Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, which will be the 15th day of the 6th month on the celestial clock and calendar of Yahuwah. According to the prophet and astronomer Hanok in chapter 78, verse 8, when he said, "And all remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th day." A solar eclipse can only happen during a conjunction moon event. So welcome to another scriptural empirical calendar and astronomical study. As always, please ensure that you prepare in advance for each and every day as it relates to Psalms chapter 90, verse 12, when it comes to numbering our days in order to bring our hearts to wisdom. Stop the video at any time to ensure that you can focus on the scriptural and empirical astronomical information being shared for this upcoming sign. As always, we provide a PDF link in the description box of each and every scriptural study video so that you can actually utilize these visuals in your assemblies and or any other purpose that you may want. And again, we are asking you to critically prove this for yourself. Don't follow me or any other human being. This scriptural study will have 3 categories. We'll go over the forecast update, which we already have done in the 6-month video a few weeks back. And 2, what did Hanok actually state? And other scriptural verses that prove this, if you allow Scripture to interpret Scripture. And 3, what do the heavens reveal that you can personally prove under the Shamayim for your very self? So let's get into the forecast really quick now. Again, there will be an annular solar eclipse on the pagan day of Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. And an annular solar eclipse, or all solar eclipse events, can only happen in a conjunction moon event. It's not a new moon. It's an old moon. So we did the first video for the 6th month a few weeks back. Please check out the channel for that. And again, only a full moon can produce a lunar eclipse. That is an astronomical fact. I couldn't change that even if I wanted to, now could I? And thus why 15 days later, a conjunction moon, a dark moon event, is what is known as the only possible way a solar eclipse can happen. So stop the video, go to the 6-month video, take a look at this forecast. If you forecast every day, knowing the position of the moon as it relates to its alignment with the greater light, the sun, let alone where that moon is in position to the scriptural stars, you will not err. So this is why we forecast in advance. We prepare. Preparation is the key. It allows Scripture to interpret Scripture. And this is why we say and follow what the psalmist had stated in Psalm 119, verse 129. Your witnesses are wonders, so my being observes them. So very easy to prove, and as a result, why we can know in advance each and every lunar eclipse, let alone this upcoming solar eclipse, which is called an annular ring of fire solar eclipse that will take place in South and North America, and very much so in South America, yes, in some parts of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Antarctica. How do we know this? Well, we know this because Yahuwah is steadfast. He's reliable, and his sun, moon, and stars are very much the same, just like Scripture states. And as such, we can forecast in advance. So as an example, go to the website timeanddate.com, and you will notice that October 2nd, 2024 annular solar eclipse. It'll tell you what it looks like. It'll give you a video of it. It'll tell you where to see the eclipse. It'll show the eclipse shadow path. It'll talk about when the eclipse happens worldwide on a timeline. It'll show the countries where the eclipse is visible, the start of the eclipse, and the end of the eclipse. And as you can see here, the countries listed on the left-hand side of this chart. How many people can see this eclipse? It breaks it down in the fraction of world population based on the number of people in those locations. And it also shares the information, as we've just highlighted, that an eclipse never comes alone. A lunar eclipse always precedes a solar eclipse. And you can go to this little link and look at all eclipses from 1900 to 2199. It's that simple. Again, because Yahuwah's sun, moon, and stars are so steadfast, they can be forecasted in advance, let alone viewed from the past. That simple. So this is why we can forecast in advance each and every day, years and years in advance. And we can go back in the past, just like this 1-year summary from the 1st to the 7th month. Again, we are no longer providing the forecast for the whole year. We want people to do this for themselves. If the power goes out, you then can go outside and tell time, more specifically the appointed times of Yahuwah. We're not looking for followers. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a Berean, a researcher that searches the scriptures out daily and goes in the creation or Shamaim to verify it. So, preparing to prove the 6th restored new moon. And why do many attempt to replace the word moon with the English word month today? These two videos are very helpful before going through this one. So let's get into the forecast as we just did, as it relates to what did Hanok state about a forecast, as it is with this upcoming solar annular eclipse. Again, we've covered this many times in the past with this video, Enoch's 15th-day dark conjunction moon phase, and even all the way back to 2021, preparing to prove the 9th new moon day of 2021. So, again, you're going to have an annular solar eclipse. And that can only happen when the moon is in a conjunction phase. But there is far more to this. So if you're led by Abib and you understand the star Spica is Abib, and when Abib leads the moon, you will know when the very first day of the first month is. Once you understand this and the other scriptural stars and their position in alignment with the sun and moon, then you know why the very first page of scripture shows that the celestial clocking calendar of Yahuwah is not solar-based only, is not lunar-based only. It is all three witnesses of light that makes this celestial clocking calendar work. No different than a wristwatch with a second, minute, and hour hand. If this is not for you, if you don't like using all of the witnesses on your wristwatch, you may not want to use all the witnesses in Scripture. Remember, a solar only is deception. A lunar only model is deception. The Scriptures are clear. All three witnesses to number our days for days, years, and appointed times that produce signs. Again, the psalmist stated in Psalm 136, verse 9, the moon, the Yarak, not the month, the Yarak, and stars to rule by night. Are you aware that it is only the full moon that rules the whole night through, all through 4 night watches with the stars? A crescent and conjunction moon doesn't do that. And we're going to go through that in this study. Remember, the Yarak, the moon, is for appointed times. The sun knows its mabo, or going down, or entry point. So, and that's in the west. So we'll talk more about this with the psalmist in 136 verse 9. Only a full moon, a Yarak, a fully restored moon, rules with the stars through all 4 night watches. We can prove that. Only the full moon is a light on a lampstand. And we'll share why in this study. My eyes have gone before the 4 night watches to study your word. The heavens proclaim the esteem of the Almighty Father of lights, Yahuwah, and the expanses declaring the work of his hand is declaring. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. Well, let's go over this knowledge with a focus on the psalmist, the Riyak, the moon and stars to rule by night, for his kindness is everlasting. So which moon phase rules with the scriptural stars the whole night through? Which moon phase rules with the scriptural stars the whole night through, the 4 night watches? Furthermore, Hanok stated in chapter 78, verses 12 through 13, and on the first day she is called the new moon, the Yarak, for on that day the light rises upon her. She becomes full moon, exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west. It knows it's going down. It's Mabo. And from the east she rises at night, and the moon shines the whole night through, till the sun rises over against her. So the sunlight rises over against her in the dawn, and the moon is seen over against the sun. So, can we prove this astronomically? So, it is only a fully restored moon that rules the whole night through. Not a conjunction dark moon, and we can prove this. And certainly not a first visible crescent moon. Well, how do we prove this with actual data? How do we prove that the moon, the lesser light out of the 2 great lights, is a light on a lampstand? And how do we prove that it is only the fully restored moon that rules the 4 night watches all the way through from east to west with data? How do we prove that it is only the fully restored moon that is in alignment with Psalms 136, verse 9, and the writings of Hanok, chapter 78, verse 12 through 13? How do we prove that? Well, we know what Hanok stated. What do the heavens actually reveal? Well, let's get into that. Again, we've got the forecast. We know what's happening out there with both lunar and solar eclipses year after year. Well, let's get into it. Let's actually go into the actual data. And here is the sample from the 29th day of the 5th month, the first day of the 6th month, all the way to the 15th day of the 6th month and the day after. Let's get into what we can actually track from moonrise to moonset with actual times, and the meridian passing, which is nothing more than the 180 degree mark, which is due south, and the percent illumination. Let's check it out, shall we? So, we know that the first day of the 6th month was on the pagan day of September 18th, Wednesday. We know that. And we know that the moon rose on the 17th of pagan September at 6:59 p.m. and it set at 6:30 a.m. All 4 night watches. According to the psalmist, for Psalm 136 verse 9, right here, let alone Hanok, the moon shines the whole night through. So it shone from 6:59 p.m. all the way to 6:30 a.m. It was a light on a lampstand. It's also the Yak, the moon, it was for an appointed time. And Europe, much of Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Pacific, Atlantic, Indian Ocean, and Arctic, and the Antarctica visualized it. And we have film and photograph footage of it. So on the pagan day of Wednesday, September 18th, commencing at the dawn, was the first day of the 6th month. All of the scriptural witnesses align to the astronomical empirical proof. We have that. Well, what about the 15th day? Well, if we know that the full moon is new moon, a fully restored moon, because it shines the whole night through the 4 night watches, just like Hanok had stated, from east to west, what about a 15th day? Well, Hanok stated in chapter 78, verse 8, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th day. Well, take a look. That moon will rise at 6:04 a.m., not in the 4 night watches, and it will set at 6:13 p.m. And just after noon at 12:12 p.m., and this sample is from Jerusalem, it's going to experience 0% illumination, just like Hanok stated. And it will produce a ring of fire this time around with an annular solar eclipse. This is the empirical astronomical proof as verified by the scriptural record. Now, again, I thought this. So any of you seeing this for the first time, having a little bit of a cognitive dissonance event or experience, just as I did way back when, yes, it's tough. But don't entrench yourself into cognitive bias and be dogmatic and discount all of this. This is actual proof. Now, if you don't like proof, well, then you're still in the world religious mindset, being dogmatic with cognitive bias. It is what it is. Now, if you love evidence, you love facts, you love truth, well, here it is. Now, you can ignore this, as I once did, but I no longer do. I truly love evidence. I truly love having the ability to rely on something that if the power does go off, I know how to forecast now without apps. I understand how the moon operates, how the sun operates, how the scriptural stars operate out in the heavens, because I've been forecasting for so long, but more importantly, going outside with a camera to film and photograph it. Now I know the movement, I know the speed, I know the position. It's all reliable because it's steadfast. Yahuwah is reliable. So there are purpose, and there is purpose of the sun, moon, and stars. It's for days, years, and appointed times. It's that simple. Now you can, again, you can reject this. Each and every world religion does. They reject it. Remember, 98% of all countries on earth today utilize a Gregorian calendar from the Roman Catholic Church, the beast itself. Forget about all this proof. Forget about it. Well, we no longer want to forget about it. We want to share it with joy. We want to do the diligence. It takes a huge spirit, the fruit of the Spirit. It takes love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all the way up to self-control to do this work. You can't have a Laodicean mindset. So that basic. So hopefully you enjoy this basic information that anyone can do on their very own and can forecast it out in advance. Again, the heavens are proclaiming the esteem of the Almighty Father of lights, Yahuwah himself, and the expanse is declaring the work of his hand. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. Remember, you'll only know that it's a fully restored moon that rises in the east and sets in the west the whole night through. A conjunction moon and a crescent moon does not do that. So again, the verification of Psalms 136 verse 9 in alignment with Hanok's writings only work with a full restored moon. And this is why you get the word Kesah, which means full moon, which represents the first day of a month, that we can actually read in the Psalmist, chapter 81, verse 3, at the full moon on our festival day, blow the trumpet, blow the ram's horn, the first day of the seventh month, Yom Teruah. And we do know about the story in Proverbs chapter 7, verse 20, when an individual, a male, was coming home to worship. Again, new moon days are worship days, no different than Sabbath days, just like the prophet Yeshayahu had stated. Very basic. On the first day she is called the new moon, the fully restored moon, and on that day the light rises upon her. That does not happen with a conjunction or a crescent moon. She becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west. Remember, Psalms 104, verse 19. Yahuwah, the Father of lights, made the moon for appointed times. The sun knows its mabo, going down. And this is why the sun rises, the moon, a fully restored moon, will rise in the east and set in the west. Kesah, very, very basic. If you allow Scripture to interpret Scripture. Remember, the moon's a light on a lampstand. It doesn't happen with a conjunction because it happens during the day, not the night. A solar eclipse happens during the day period. A lunar eclipse happens during the night period, when the moon shines the whole night through till the sun, its light rises over against her, as you can see at the dawn. I have some photographs at the end of this clip to go over that even further, and the moon is seen over against the sun. A true scriptural day start is at the dawn. The taught ones, let alone the Mashiach Yahushua, started their day at first light, at the dawn. Stop the video, study out these scriptural verses, along with these ones. It's very basic. And the dawn is spectacular. It's perfect. It's when the fully restored moon is a light on a lampstand, which is in alignment with how it rules with the stars. You can see the scriptural stars. Again, stop the video, study out these scriptural verses, but more importantly, get outside with a camera or just your eyes to see this for yourselves. You'll be glad that you did, because Kesah is indeed the first day of a month. It is a full moon, and we're getting ready for trumpets Yom Teruah, Psalm verse 81, verse 3, chapter 81, verse 3. Once again now, aren't we, in a couple of weeks? Just like Proverbs verifies as well in chapter 70, verse 20. Even the Greek translations in the Renewed Covenant talk about a fully restored moon as Selene, the moon. And again, study these verses, Luke, Acts, 1 Corinthians, and Revelation or Hazon to verify. We covered this again. If you understand a solar eclipse, when it happens, you can even go back, as we shared in the amazing Passover eclipse of 2022, and why on the 16th day at the end of it, just before the 17th day, the star known as Hamal, the morning star, rises after 3 days and 3 nights. Again, the sun, moon, and stars are first signs that represent specific days, years. They're for appointed times. So Kesah, full moon. Kodesh, Strong's entry H2320, is a new moon, a new month, a first day. Look at all of the words in Scripture that with Kodesh and their context when you allow Scripture to interpret Scripture, just as Hanok had stated. Kadash, Strong's entry H2318, is a verb, means to renew, repair. It's the root of H2320, to restore or restored in full, to be new. A conjunction moon is not new, it's old. And then you got H2019, it's an adjective, Kadash. There are many words to express why a fully restored moon is renewed. It's new. No different than Grover from Sesame Street would acknowledge. A child would know that this house is old and it needs a paint job. It needs to be renewed. It's very basic. So yes, a conjunction moon is old. A fully restored moon is renewed. It's a new moon. So this is why the annual solar eclipse will prove that we will be in a 15th day of the 6th month on the celestial clock and calendar of Yahuwah, which happens to be this year on the pagan day of Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. So that's what the heavens reveal. That's what they show. Very basic to explain. So again, here's the proof. That moon rose the first day of the 6th month on the pagan day of September 17th at 6:59 p.m. and shone the whole night through, just like Hanok stated, all the way to 6:30 a.m. on the pagan day of Wednesday, September 18th. So that is proving Psalms 136:9, the moon and stars to rule by night, for his kindness is everlasting. Remember, a conjunction and crescent moon doesn't do this. Again, it doesn't line up to Hanok, chapter 78, verses 12 through 13. The moon shines the whole night through. A conjunction and crescent moon does not shine the whole night through. But what does a conjunction moon do? It rises in the morning after the night watches, in this case coming up on the pagan day of Wednesday, October 2nd, it's going to rise at 6:04 a.m. and set at 6:13 p.m. and at 12:12 p.m. it's going to produce or help to produce a annular solar eclipse. So Hanok stated, chapter 78, verse 8, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th day. Again, this is proof. What you do with it is between you and the Father of lights. Sure, I'll be disappointed if you don't accept truth. Why wouldn't I be? But I'm not going to lose any sleep over all of the world religions in this world with cognitive biases that want to rub out the sun, moon, and stars, all three witnesses, and install a calendar that hangs on a wall from the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Again, remember, I fell for the deception as well. I was on the Gregorian for many years. I didn't understand that Yahuwah's very first page of Scripture was true. I didn't know. So have patience with others that are still struggling with this. Do the work. If you're showing true scriptural love, you'll do the work. You won't exercise or participate in banter without backup. That's simple. And this is why we are overjoyed with Bereans that are getting outside to test and prove their forecasts and to film and photograph it, to see what the heavens, the Shamayim, actually reveals day after day, week after week, month after month. And I'd like to thank the folks that did this photograph with the Aurora Borealis. They did this in the first week of the 6th month in a location called Pog Lake, Algonquin Park. It's my favorite place on earth out of the 50 plus countries that I've been to. And here's Ursa Major in the top left. Isn't that amazing? And it's pointing to the North Star. And as we all know, Aurora Borealis is a northern lights event. And we believe that the throne is situated in the north. So again, we are just ecstatic. We are just overly joyed with all of the work that's being done with forecasting in advance and then getting out in the Shamayim to test and prove those forecasts. And here's a great shot from Canis Bay Lake, Algonquin Park on the 9th day of the 6th month, which was the pagan day of Thursday, September 26th. Again, the dawn first light is a true scriptural day start if you allow Scripture to interpret Scripture. And who wouldn't want to witness this? You got to be pretty much asleep to not want to do this. You pretty much may have a love of the darkness rather than the love of the light, love of truth. This is amazing, and this is why we thank the Almighty Father of Lights, Yahuwah himself, the only self-existent one, for these experiences. So again, a dawn is a true scriptural day start if you allow Scripture to interpret Scripture. If you have a world religious mindset still, you'll obliterate this. You will participate with world religious people, and you will eliminate the three witnesses of light, along with Hanok chapter 78, verses 12 through 13, Psalms 136, verse 9, the very own words of the Mashiach Yahushua, chapter 5, verse 15, that the light is a light on a lamp sent for all in the house to see. Again, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So again, you can't mix darkness with light. Some people are saying these things, but it's not even empirically true. It's not even true by definition in a dictionary. Darkness, and its very definition, means the quality of state of being dark, which basically means the total or near total absence of light. Remember, darkness is the near total absence of light. The light shines in the darkness. The darkness has never overcome the light. Don't let anyone tell you different. Again, the moon shines the whole night through till the sun rises over against her. The light of the sun, not sunrise. Again, we witness these things. We film and photograph them. Don't let anybody do the Johnny Carson two-step or the song and dance. Remember, Yeshayahu the prophet stated it best in chapter 8, verse 20, to the Torah and to the witness, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no daybreak, no first light, they haven't experienced it. And thus why many people on earth are totally unaware that a conjunction moon is coming up here, is a dark moon phase, just like this latest annular solar eclipse, which is going to occur on the 15th day of the 6th month, which is the pagan day of Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. Very easy to prove. Again, some of you that are now walking in this walk, walking in the light, don't get discouraged when people come down hard on you. They will. If you're utilizing all three witnesses of light, the deception of the Zadokite calendars, or some people say Enoch calendars, Enoch talked about three witnesses of light, not just the solar only. And for some of those folks that are doing sliver moons or conjunction moons, again, those are deceptions. It's all three witnesses of light, and this is why you know that this upcoming annular solar eclipse aligns with Hanok chapter 78, verse 8, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th day, and you will be able to witness this once again. So another update. Again, looks like there's over 100 people going to this Sukkot, or Festival of Ingathering. Please reach out to these folks right here on this email address. And looks like a great event that is happening in Lake Darbonne, I think that's how it's pronounced, State Park, Farmerville, Louisiana, USA. So I was asked to help share this, and here's the phone number or email address if interested in attending. The next Celestial Clock and Calendar of Yahuwah workshop will take place on the 26th day of the 6th month at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the pagan day of Sunday, October 13th, 2024. Reach out to us at family1@rogers.com. We're going over Sukkot and the turning of the year, the Festival of Ingathering. We're going to be talking about the first day of the 7th month all the way up to the last great day, the 22nd day of the 7th month, which is the third Sabbath. And we're going to talk about the sun, moon, and stars and the signs that show the turning of the year. There's the turning of the year that you can actually witness with your very own eyes with the sun, moon, and stars. And we're going over that and how all of the witnesses, sun, moon, and stars, are wonders, and why our being will observe them once again at the Festival of Ingathering at the turning of the year. So reach out to us with your Skype address or contact. Send it to us at family1@rogers.com if interested. Stay close to the YouTube community page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you will receive all of this information. So we thank all of the Bereans that help us facilitate these workshops and this simple work with this next upcoming annual solar eclipse. We continue to call out, we continue to shua, to cry out to Yahuwah for our deliverance, just as the Mashiach Yahushua did his son, the firstborn of all creation. So in closing, may Yahuwah, our Father of lights, continue to keep and guard each and every one of you and your loved ones. So until next time, may the Mashiach Yahushua be in everything we say and do. Have a great 15th day of the 6th month. Looking forward to your film and photograph footage of this upcoming annular solar eclipse. And as always, have a awesome day.